America is generally known in mainstream culture as the land of the free, a safe haven for diverse opinions. But unfortunately, Americans have often had guttural reactions to culture-defining pieces of literature and art in general. But by 1970, author Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five had become a renowned classic in literature and was used by high school teachers in the classroom all over the country. But in 1973, Drake High School in North Dakota ordered that all copies of the novel be confiscated and burned in a furnace. In response, Vonnegut wrote a letter to the head of the school board, Charles McCarthy, to lament the decision. In this letter, he articulates why books and open access to information are so integral to American identity. And keep in mind, this letter did not receive a response. November 16th, 1973. Dear Mr. McCarthy, I am writing to you in your capacity as chairman of the Drake School Board. I am now one of those American writers whose books have been destroyed in the now famous furnace of your school. Certain members of your community have suggested that my work is evil. This is extraordinarily insulting to me. The news from Drake indicates to me that books and writers are very unreal to you people. I am writing this letter to let you know how real I am. I want you to know, too, that my publisher and I have done absolutely nothing to exploit the disgusting news from Drake. We are absolutely not clapping each other on the back, crowing about all the books we sell because of the news. We have declined to go on television, have written no fiery letters to editorial pages, have granted no lengthy interviews. We are angered and sickened and saddened. And no copies of this letter have been sent to anybody else. You are now the only one who holds a copy in your hands. It is strictly a private letter from me to the people of Drake, who have done so much to damage my reputation in the eyes of your community and in the eyes of the country. Do you have the courage and the ordinary decency to show the letter to the people, or will it, too, be consigned to the fires of your furnace? If you were to bother to read my books, to behave as educated persons would, you would learn that they are not sexy. They don't argue in favor of wildness of any kind. They beg that people be more kind and responsible than they often are, and it is often true that the characters speak coarsely, and that is because people speak coarsely in real life. Especially soldiers and hardworking men speak coarsely. Even the most sheltered children know that. And we all know, too, that words don't damage children much. They didn't damage us when we were young. It was evil deeds and lying that hurt us. And after I've said all this, I am sure you are still ready to respond in effect. Yes, yes, but it still remains our right and our responsibility to decide what books our children are going to be made to read in our community. This is surely so. But it is also true that if you exercise that right and fulfill that responsibility in an ignorant, harsh, un-American manner, then people are entitled to call you bad citizens and fools. Even your own children are entitled to call you that. I read in the newspaper that your community is mystified by the outcry from all over the country about what you have done. Well, you discovered that Drake is a part of American civilization, and your fellow Americans can't stand it when you behave in such an uncivilized way. Perhaps you will learn from this that books are sacred to free men for very good reasons, and that wars have been fought against nations which hate books and burn them. If you are an American, you must allow all ideas to circulate freely in your community, not merely your own. If you and your board are determined now to show that you have in fact the wisdom and maturity when you exercise your powers over the education of your young, then you should acknowledge that it was a rotten lesson that you taught young people in a free society when you denounced, that you burned books you hadn't even read. You should also resolve to expose your children to all sorts of opinions and information in order that they will be better equipped to make decisions and to survive. Again, you have insulted me. I am a good citizen, and I am very real. Kurt Vonnegut.